How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Conti and Nick. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. The first time they go offense, they take Jordan Love? They take Jordan Love!
Listen, Matisse Thybulle will lock up CP3.
Oh my god.
Chris Paul.
Oh my god.
Chris Paul, baby. Right, Will?
Nope, I totally disagree. Look.
Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart, Aaron Nesmith and Daniel Tyson, Derek White were on their way to banner 18, and Steph, Dre, and Clay are setting the scream. We're gonna take flight just like PP. Jimmy, I hardly knew ya.
Wait, no, that's the greatest intro of Conti and Nick we've ever had.
Should I run it back?
Huh?
Should I run it back?
No.
Jason.
Oh my god. Anyway, welcome back to Conti and Nick. The Celtics are in the finals.
Jimmy, I hardly knew ya.
I lost it at the fast PP. That was legendary.
We're
That's
gonna
go
take
down.
flight just like PP.
That's great. I was like, what is he doing? It's like, Gino, for the record, Gino doesn't tell me what he's doing. Usually I'll just do the intro, but on a few occasions, Gino will be like, wait, I'm doing the intro. And I just know it's going to be something.
I don't ask.
He's like, I'm doing it today.
I insist I'm doing it.
And I'm like, all right, like, yeah, go for it.
Because you know I got something up my sleeve, man.
Of course. Anyway, welcome back to Conti and Nick. We're here with
episode 53, baby.
Episode 53. Before we talk about the NBA Finals, I mean, I got some pretty important stuff to talk about. Gino, I need to know, while you're here, are the rumors true that's been going around of maybe you jumping in the ring and taking on Dan Nunes on the obnoxious Inc. channel?
You know, I'm not going to say anything right now. Okay? Not going to make anything official just yet. I'm not going to make any call-outs. I'm going to wait for Daniel Nunesy to call me out. Because I was taught to never start the fight. I always just finish it. Okay? That's all I'm going to say for right now. I'm sorry. I wish I had a more clickbait, a more exciting answer for you. But just know that I'm going to be sitting here waiting. And I'm not going to be not training. I'm not going to be not ready.
Okay.
So just so you know.
So would you say that you've been in the gym?
I mean, never let them know your next move.
I like it.
Never let them know what you're doing.
I like it. Obviously, go give Obnoxious a follow if you want to keep up with all the stuff going on. No, it's perfect.
You know, Bill Belichick answer.
If you want to keep up with everything going on Obnoxious, it's the other podcast I do. It's less sports and more kind of like raunch, I guess you could call it, but it is fun. We do love to do it. So yeah, go give that a follow. And yeah, I guess we'll just kind of jump in to, the obvious. You know, the Celtics are in the NBA Finals.
Let me tell you. Do you remember when I went on that epic rant
I do.
a few months back, and I was like, listen, the Celtics were my first love. Well, listen, football's my first love. Sure. That's going to be my first love. But the first sport that I ever truly, really got into and followed were the 2008 Boston Celtics. I was in first grade, and we always made a big thing about it in class, especially when they were in the playoffs. Of like, guys, part of your homework is to watch the game. Part of your homework is to watch the game, and it was just so cool. And when we won, we just got so excited. You know, it was great. You know, and obviously we made the finals again in 2010. Came up a little short, unlike PP Haru. But anyways, but you know, this is really the first time I'd say, truly in about 14 years. 14 if you want to count 2008, 2010, 12. You know, 12 years, I mean, this has been over a decade in the making.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've been saying it, I'm so excited. You know, this is like, it sounds weird. This is bringing me back, like, childhood, like, memories of, happiness memories. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's so great for me, but that doesn't mean, like, I'm complacent. We definitely have work to do, but I'm just excited.
Absolutely.
You know?
The job's not done. I mean, I've been saying, the first basketball memory that I have was like true memory. Like I remember us winning in 2008, but I don't remember what happened. I just remember that we won in 2010. How
could we remember though? Dude, we were
exactly. But my earliest memory, 2010, was my dad screaming at the TV for I forget which game. I'm pretty sure it was Game 7. Screaming at the TV, being like, "We can't make a goddamn free throw!" And I was like, I'm watching like James Posey miss free throws and KG's not making them. Rondo is like somehow hitting 3-pointers.
PJ Brown's rejecting people.
No, exactly.
PJ Brown coming out of retirement.
Yeah.
Like the old head center to finally get himself a ring. Sam Cassell.
Was Eddie House on that team too?
Yes, Eddie House, James Posey.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of good people on that team.
That's
and
true.
obviously
That's the earliest team that I remember though.
Prime Rondo. Kendrick Perkins.
But you can't forget Perk.
Of course you can't forget. Listen,
could never forget
Perk. What you want. People troll him now because he's on ESPN and
stuff. He was a great player. He was a
dominant paint presence. He really and truly was. Obviously not like a superstar, all-star, knock your socks off, but he was a dominant paint presence. He really and truly was. So, listen, we're trying to put our bias aside here.
Yeah, I do love the Celtics.
Of course.
I've been saying they haven't been competitive since I was like 9 years old. Like this is the first true year where I felt, oh my god, we can go and win a championship. And I said that from the beginning of the playoffs. Like, oh my god, we could go and win this. This is possible.
Yeah, and you know what? So I will say this is. Let's just hear me out for a second. It's bittersweet, but 99% sweet and 1% bitter. You want to know why?
Why?
Because I picked the Heat to win the championship.
I know, right?
Yeah. I picked the Heat to win the championship. But you know what? I was pissed. I'm like, dude, I could maybe get the NFL and the NBA one right.
Yeah.
I'm like,
we got half and half. I said the Warriors would make the finals.
So I'll get the NFL, and no offense, I hope you don't get the NBA
No,
one,
me
right?
neither. No, really me neither.
But, if you do, props to you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think it's time to actually get into like the meat and potatoes of this thing.
All right.
So I have keys to victory for each team. I have some bullet points here listed down, but I want to hear what you have to say, kind of get your perspective from each team. Give me like the Boston keys to victory and give me the Golden State keys to victory.
So here's what I got for you. The Boston keys to victory has to be making the three-pointer, obviously. It's been a big part for us in each of these games. You need to shoot well for the three. Jason Tatum needs to play well, and he needs to score the ball. And that's as far as offense. I feel like offense is pretty, I like our offense. I like the way it works. We just need to make shots. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown need to do their thing. And everyone needs to play their role on offense, however. Defensively, this is when it gets more intense. Jordan Poole off the bench is going to be a problem, and he's going to come off the bench. I'm like 90% sure of it. So what I'm thinking is maybe play a little more Nesmith to play Jordan Poole defensively. That could be an option. Maybe stick Grant Williams on him coming off the bench, but you need a good perimeter player on Jordan Poole. He will torch up a defense. It'll be incredible what he will do when he doesn't have a good defensive player on him.
Poole's more of the shooting guard, right?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, shooting guard. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have him in my brain more as like a point guard, shooting guard hybrid.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So
absolutely. I think Grant could cover him, though.
I just want to make sure I'm not confused with that. Okay.
Yeah. So even though Grant, is a power forward, I feel like Grant could take him. Grant took Giannis. He took Jimmy Butler at some times. I feel like he could cover Poole. Poole might be a little bit faster. Grant has great positioning on defense. Stephen Curry needs to have Marcus Smart on him the entire game. And we need to go back to what we did in Milwaukee, and we need to switch everything on defense. That's what it has to be. It needs to be Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, Rob Williams, so you can literally switch everything. Everything is switchable except on Steph Curry. Mm-hmm. That's where Marcus Smart needs to stay on him. Maybe a Jaylen Brown switch, but, other than that, it should really be, Marcus Smart on Jaylen Brown. We need to obviously cover. I don't think Clay is going to be as big as people are saying he's going to be, and I'm a Clay fan. But,
Clay has the ability to erupt at any
absolutely,
moment, yeah.
But I feel like we can, negate that, you know what I mean? Clay goes crazy when he has, 3 open threes to start the game, and then it's...
He's a top 5 shooter of all time.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But I feel like we can contain him to a certain point. Wiggins, look, we make the joke all the time, it's the year for Andrew Wiggins, and this was actually the year for Andrew Wiggins, but I'm still not buying it. I'd take Tatum in that matchup any single day of the week, no problem. Draymond Green, he's a good passer, but you just gotta keep it stagnant.
He's there all
yeah, and Kevon Looney, I've been saying, I think we match up with the Warriors better than anyone in the NBA. Our perimeter defense is probably the best in the NBA. We do really good off the perimeter. Down low, Grant Williams has made a huge step to improve that area. Bringing back Al Horford was insane. So there's a lot of things that we need to do defensively, I think more than offensively. But with Ime Udoka and the identity that this team has, it's 100% possible for them to go out and do what they have to do to contain this Warriors team.
So what do you got for Golden State? What's their keys to
So for Golden State, Steph needs to score the ball. It's as simple as that. Steph needs to go crazy. Not as much as the Jimmy Butler Giannis crazy, but he needs to make shots. Steph needs to extend that range, needs to get out deep. And defensively, it's going to be hard. I think you have to negate Jason Tatum the most. So if I'm Golden State, I'm probably sticking Draymond Green on him, honestly. I've seen some rumors about maybe putting Draymond at the 5 and having Jordan Poole start and doing something with that. And I don't know how I feel about that. It could. So you go Steph, Poole, Clay, Wiggins,
because then
Draymond.
who's coming off your bench, really?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, so you don't really. If you're Golden State, the one thing I will say, they don't have a lot of depth on their bench.
They have a couple guys, Kuminga, Moses Moody. They got some, but they're young. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, but definitely people who have not been exposed to the playoff, and you know what? Who knows? Like, they could definitely come on and break onto the scene, but they do tighten their rotation a lot in the playoffs, and especially when you're trying to win the championship.
Yeah.
So
also, before I continue, allergies are absolutely killing me. If I sound a little in my throat, pollen. I hate it.
It happens to the best of us.
It's not doing me justice. Also from coughing back here.
Yeah.
But no, those are pretty much my keys. I think the Warriors on defense, you need to negate Jason Tatum, and you need to take care of the bench scoring. Derek White, but you know, as much as we gave him crap in the first 2 series, he really flourished in the last couple of games in Miami. He became kind of that third scorer when Marcus wasn't hitting, and you need some guy to score off the bench. I feel like he could be big in this series too if he's able to get going. And this is where I feel like Moses Moody's going to have to step up and kind of be, okay, you're a rookie, yes, but you need to perform in the finals.
Yeah. Is that what you got?
Yeah, that's what I got for both teams.
Cool.
Defensively, this is going to be a defensive battle, I think, because both teams can really score the ball. So it's going to be a more, okay, how do we, try and stop the scoring more than like, okay, we need to outscore them. It doesn't feel like that is what it's going to be.
It can't be.
It can't be.
It
no,
can't.
No.
Because, listen, and if you don't mind, I'll kind of get into my things here. So, it sounds so cliche. Like, obviously, it sounds like this. You probably say it as a coach in the locker room before every single game. But it's more urgent than ever. The Celtics need 1,000%. It's imperative to be the more physical team in this series. Okay, like, obviously, we do know that Golden State does have some people who are capable of being physical, like Looney, Kuminga to a little lesser extent, and then Draymond Green. Obviously, Wiseman isn't on the floor. He hasn't been all year. Yeah. Okay, but if you look at it, they're a finesse team. This is a team that makes no secret about it because they have 2 top 5 shooters of all time. This is a team that's going to try to beat you with their shooting, with their athleticism, with Andrew Wiggins.
On ball, off ball, everything.
Exactly.
It's all over the place.
This isn't a team that's going to put their shoulder down and be like, hey, it's me versus you and I'm going to freaking win.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to be the more physical team against this Golden State Warriors.
Gotta get off those screens.
Yes.
Have to.
Even though they won against the grit and grind Grizzlies, nobody struggled more in that series than Steph Curry. Nobody struggled more against that type of style of play than Steph Curry. So I definitely think if you're able to play a similar role, actually, if I'm Ime Udoka and I'm Boston, I'm sitting the team down and I'm watching film from the first couple of games of that series when Memphis really gave them issues.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing if I'm them and being like, hey, listen, obviously let's not be copy and paste, but let's for sure make sure we're taking some elements of that defense and putting it on the floor here.
Absolutely.
Number 2, I have 4 bullet points here. Do not try to go for a tit for tat, or in other words, a dick measuring contest with the Golden State Warriors. When I mean that, I go, if they're on their game when they're shooting threes, if they're hot, if they're pulling up from half court, do not try to match them, because if there's one thing that this team has, more not just than the Celtics, more than anything in this league, it's shooting.
Oh, yeah.
Do not try to outshoot them.
Ever.
We saw a team who was fully equipped to try to outmeasure them and out-dick measure them with the Houston Rockets a few years ago.
2018.
It still didn't work.
Nope.
Do not get caught up in it. Do not try. Play your game and stick to yourself. Put Jason Tatum. This is now a defensive key to the game. Put Jason Tatum on Klay Thompson.
I don't mind that.
Put Jason Tatum on Klay Thompson.
Get that length to close out.
And guess what? And you put Jaylen Brown on Andrew Wiggins. Put athlete on athlete. That, in my opinion, if you put Jaylen Brown on Klay Thompson,
I like that way more, actually, now that you say it.
Thank you.
Because Jaylen Brown has, the bunnies to get up with Wiggins when
that's what I'm saying. So obviously, Jason Tatum is a great defender, and he's capable of shutting down Andrew Wiggins. But look at what they did, and I use this comparison with lots, and I know it's a different sport. But what happened in 2014 when the New England Patriots faced the Detroit Lions? They put Brandon Browner on Calvin Johnson rather than Darrelle Revis. They put Darrelle Revis with the fast guy. They put Brandon Browner, who was the big, tough, physical guy, with Calvin Johnson, the big, tough, physical guy. In my opinion, that's what you have to do. I mean, I don't know if it's going to happen, but if I'm Ime, that's what I'm thinking.
Sure.
This is just from a basketball outsider's point of view.
I feel like it's going to be some type of variation of play straight up and switch everything. Kind of like what we did with Milwaukee, where it's like, okay, don't switch everything on Giannis, but switch the athletes with Giannis.
Yes.
You know?
Absolutely. And you know what? The fourth and final key, the true key that I have, take advantages of the big man mismatches and use a constant rotation. Okay, so Daniel Tice, if you'll notice, very, very rarely played in the Eastern Conference Final against Miami. He played when he have to against Milwaukee, but when obviously everyone was on the floor, he didn't play much. I think with Kevon Looney, and especially when he comes off the floor, I mean, who's their backup center?
You really got no one.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, who's their
I
backup
think
center?
they run Otto Porter there sometimes.
Maybe.
Like,
I kind of forgot Otto Porter was on the team. But
Yeah.
the thing is, you have, in my opinion, you can afford to kind of get some fresh legs like that. I wouldn't say Cornette like Big Jake, but I believe you can afford to actually give Daniel Tice some minutes in this series.
Shout out Jason Dan.
Yes, because I like Daniel Tice better than Kevon Looney.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Daniel Tice is our third string center, and he's there first.
Yeah.
So if you're worried about Time Lord being out there too much and hurting himself, if you're worried about Al Horford, he is older, so he can kind of run out of steam quicker.
Al needs this stuff.
Yeah, you know
Al's
what I'm
gonna be
saying.
no,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
I
So
agree.
I do actually believe that Daniel Tice can be utilized in this series, and even if it's just him being the goon, like go out there, get like 5 fouls, and then get the hell off the court.
No, for real.
I definitely think you can afford to give Tice some minutes in this series. Do you agree with me there?
I do. Yeah, Danny. I mean, I think we have, and this is the first time in a while where it feels like we 100% have the advantage as far as size and big guys. Rob Williams is better than Kevon Looney. Danny Tice is better than Kevon Looney, and Al Horford's better than Kevon Looney. They're all better than him.
That's
so
what
it's
I'm
like,
saying.
so you can play with a 3-man center rotation, absolutely. But our guards are not better than Steph, and our shooting guards are probably not better than Clay, at least from shooting. I mean, Jaylen Brown, is more athletic, but I mean, Clay's one of the best shooters ever. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a hard series, definitely, and I'm very interested to see how this is going to go.
Exactly. So moving on more to it's like I said, we're trying to be a little bit unbiased here.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to the Golden State keys to victory. Play your game fast. Come out the games shooting and do nothing but shoot. And
Yep.
when you're in doubt, when you're not shooting well, want to know what you do after that?
shooting.
You keep shooting.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, if you play your game to the best of your ability, if you
gonna be tough.
if you outrun this team, if you're fast, because you are faster than them.
Yeah.
That is the one thing. Like, you do have the speed, and you do have the finesse, and you have the shooting. If you constantly get ahead of them, if you're ahead of the gun, you're going to win the series.
Yep.
You're going to come home with the, fourth NBA championship in 8 years?
Yeah.
You're going to come out with that. So
That is
if
wild.
you do nothing but play your game, don't try to deviate. Like I said with the Celtics, don't get caught up with them shooting. Don't try to get caught up in Boston's physicality. It's kind of a back and forth. So, like I said, if you just stick to your script, if you stick to your game, I believe you win. I believe you win, and I wouldn't say it's not close, but I don't think it'll be as close as people think if Golden State truly sticks to their game.
It's tough. I mean, I agree with you. You know what I think they're going to do more of? If you remember in Game 7, there was a mic'd up where Ime Udoka said, when we get those stops, grab that thing and get going. Get out.
Yep.
I feel like that's going to be a lot of what the Warriors
I remember which
do.
one you're talking about, too.
So I feel like it's going to be a lot of force the Celtics into missing shots where it's okay, we double team Jason Tatum, maybe we live with like Al Horford shooting a 3 or something.
But he can't knock those down.
Sure.
Yeah,
but they're gonna default to stuff like that, and they're gonna try and get those misses. Draymond Green gets the rebound, which they've been saying he could play the 5 this series. Draymond Green gets the rebound, he's out in transition, and Draymond in a fast break with Steph and Clay, and you have Wiggins rolling to the rim, and Kevon Looney's not fucking running, but other than that, like
slowly and briskly.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got your shooters on the wing, you got Wiggins coming to the rim. That's really hard to stop. So it's going to be a lot of, I feel like, okay, we need to get out and we need to get moving, play with pace, because like you said, they are the faster team.
Yeah, it sounds like 7 seconds or less, but
Really?
it's obviously just with more shooting.
Yeah,
So
a lot more shooting than that Steve Nash team was playing.
Yeah,
with.
and I had 4 bullet points here, but I kind of covered the other 2 in
Yeah.
like that one big sentence I had. So here's the fourth and final one that I have, because it's the second one is do not engage in any physicality. Boom. Play a strictly finesse game. Boom. I got that. Okay, so if we're going to the bench, we're talking about the bench guys here. Yeah, I think you kind of missed one, because you said who's going to guard him? Grant Williams, Aaron Nesmith, Derek White.
Yeah,
Derek White is totally capable of guarding Jordan
For
Poole.
sure, yeah.
And if I'm the Golden State Warriors, I try to avoid any Jordan Poole versus Derek White matchup whatsoever.
Yeah.
I try to get switches. I try to do screens to make sure that somebody else other than Derek White is defending Jordan Poole. I mean, because in my opinion, Derek White, he's a complete NBA player. That's what this type of San Antonio Spurs These are the
That's
type
what
of
they
guys that they produce.
Yeah.
They produce complete players, and that's why I love him. But, the shooting isn't really there. When he gets hot, yes.
You know what I say? He finally found this role in his team, and even the announcer said it when Derek White plays aggressive and he's looking for a shot and he's driving to the rim, he's confident. He was a totally different player when he's like, oh, I need to score now, and he's driving to the rim. He has a really good floater game, which I did not know.
I love it.
His floater games were, that's San Antonio right there, the bunny shots, as they call them. So, yeah.
That's pretty much what I have to say for the Golden State Warriors' keys to success. Because in my opinion, if Jordan Poole is your main guy off the bench, I make no secret about it, and he's fully capable of going off and getting hot, not to the degree of the Splash Brothers, but definitely close to that level of hotness and streakiness. If you put Derek White on him, yes, Derek White's a little bit shorter than Poole, a little bit less lengthier, but again, he's physical. Okay, he's somebody who will get right up in your face. And you know what? The Spurs and the Warriors have seen a lot of each other. So it's also a matchup that Derek White knows.
For sure.
It's a matchup that Derek White definitely will know how to handle. So if I'm the Golden State Warriors, I wouldn't say I'm scared of Derek White, but I definitely am going to actively try to avoid him, especially if Jordan Poole is the main guy off the bench, or having the offense run through him at that particular time.
Yeah, Jordan Poole's a tough cover, man. It's really hard. That kid is special. We argued on the show that, he should have been a candidate for most improved from 9 points. Like, what did he score? Like 18, 19 this year? He pooped this year. So, I want to ask you really quick, go a little bit off topic, because I saw this take on, I watch a lot of shows, Through the Wire. This one comes from The Herd with Colin Cowherd. He said that maybe the Warriors should look to maybe moving Clay next and having Jordan Poole replace him in that role.
I said last week, do you remember, or 2 weeks ago? Remember, and I was like, dude, like, I'm sorry, when we were complaining about the NBA awards,
yes,
and when we were saying, how the hell does Ja get it? We were going, I'm not saying I would do it if I'm a GM, but you have people who are looking at Jordan Poole and calling him the third Splash Brother and legitimately raising questions as to if you should move on from Clay's contract.
It could be possible. Because then you have Poole's contract, you could move Clay's contract and maybe get back like some type of real legit big man, which they haven't had in a minute.
Wiseman.
Sure.
Yeah, when Wiseman comes back, I think he's going to be good.
Do you pay Wiggins then? Like, I don't. It seems weird. Like,
see, this is something that's going to be brought up a little later.
Yeah.
Okay, because we are talking about a little bit later about the Miami Heat.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the. Hold that thought. Sorry. So what were you going to ask me? I'm sorry.
Oh, just what would you move on from Clay? Like, would that be something you'd look?
I personally would not. Because, look at what you're doing. You have a chance to make it to the finals.
Yes.
In my opinion, if you lose and if the Celtics win the finals, maybe you just play the field a little bit.
Yeah.
And if someone gives you an offer you can't refuse, then yes.
Yeah.
But if obviously it's like I don't know, who's just like a talented, if it's like a kind of like
CJ McCollum
or like a Robert Covington like Norman Powell,
sure.
like that type of deal, then no, you don't do it. Or something of that nature.
Yeah,
maybe if they give you a slew of draft picks, maybe. But I don't know. Personally, I just think that
if you're the Warriors, I feel like you're already built for the future.
Yeah,
I really like Moses Moody.
Moody's gonna be pretty good, and I like Kuminga. I like Kuminga. I mean, he was projected to be a top 5 pick.
Wiseman, when he's healthy, is going to be a dog. Like.
So I mean, Golden State has really beautifully set themselves up, in my opinion. So. I mean, and obviously the Splash Brothers are going to play forever because with their style of play,
they can play
shooting.
Forever,
I mean, you can freaking play forever. So, I mean, that's pretty much what I got for the keys to success. I personally wouldn't trade. I wouldn't trade Klay Thompson because you have the two top 5 shooters of all time, the 1 and the 5. So I wouldn't do it, you know, because
I thought that was a pretty bad take. I just wanted to know what is this
a bad take?
I think it is because is this a real thing that people are like the Warriors need to move on from Steph and Klay? Like,
well, I mean, I don't think it's a matter of they're unsatisfied with Klay, so they're trading him. I think it's just a matter of again, you're kind of trying to keep your longevity, and they're thinking that Jordan Poole will do that, along with possibly either paying Poole or paying Wiggins again, kind of keeping your team. Rather than, just going Steph and Klay.
I think that could be something for the future, but I don't understand. Like, they were saying, like, this summer it needs to happen. I'm like, I don't, because, like, why? You can
Klay, I'm going to say, like, I did say,
yes.
I'm not here saying I agree with what I'm saying, but I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Sure.
Because think about it, Klay's going to be 33.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's definitely.
Injury history,
yeah, injury history, turning 33 years old. I mean, definitely, it's not, I mean, that's kind of towards the end of some people's primes, so. I'm not saying I do it. Again, I don't want to do it. If I'm the Golden State GM, But it is. I do understand why people are starting to kind of make those questions. I really do understand why.
Yeah,
do you not?
No, I mean, I get it. Like, yeah, Jordan Poole can maybe extend her longevity. I just don't agree with it. I don't agree with, I don't think it makes sense. But.
Well, look at, I mean, it's kind of similar in terms of extending your longevity. You liked the trade offer with the CP3 and Lonzo Ball and Patrick Williams I made a couple weeks ago.
But I mean that's, yeah. But I mean, I feel like that's different because that's Steph and Clay, who are like one of the best backcourts ever, and you're breaking it up for not winning a finals, like.
No, it's not just for that. Like I said, it's not going to be unsatisfied. It's not because they're unsatisfied with Splash Brothers. It's because if you drafted Moody and Kuminga and Wiseman, who are all projected to be big parts of your future. Yeah. Steph, Clay, and Dre are 32, 32, and 33. So again, it's like it's kind of what the Spurs did. I mean, you keep your guys. But, you kind of filter them out little by little, move them to the bench. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but
for sure. Yeah. I have another off-topic question, just kind of while we have the time. Is the draft this month for the NBA?
I think so. So we definitely got we got to get on that.
That's wild.
We got to get on that.
I can't believe that. I mean, man, that's another anniversary of the pod where we go to our second NBA draft. I sucked on the first one.
We both did.
Yeah, we had right when Josh Giddey went 6. I was like, what?
We predicted him going 10th.
I know. And we said that was a sleeper. We're like, whoever gets Josh Giddey, you're getting a good prospect, and then he just goes 5 or 6. I'm like, okay.
I mean, hey, cool, OKC saw something we didn't know. We didn't see. So, I mean, kind of. I mean, are you satisfied with this?
Yeah.
So kind of going into a side topic, if you will, with the Golden State Warriors. I mean, we all see what they're doing right now with Splash Brothers and then Jordan Poole, who's called, like you said, the third one. Andrew Wiggins has finally found his footing in the league as that all-star.
This is the year.
Draymond, this is the year. Draymond isn't going anywhere, we don't think. But Kevin Durant was a guy who was there for a few years, won a couple of rings with them, and he ever since he left, he hasn't been doing too hot, man.
There was a guy in Boston who left for greener pastures too, and
quote unquote
greener pastures.
So I gotta ask you, how much, if at all, does this run that the Golden State Warriors are going on negatively affect KD's legacy?
Gino, not only does this affect KD's career, I think this is probably the biggest spot he's gone on his career, in my opinion. I mean, there were excuses before. I mean, him and Russ didn't work, sure, and a whole bunch of stuff, and but he was on the Warriors, he was winning, and then he was like, oh, now I know how to win. I can do this with anybody. I can do this with Kyrie Irving, and he leaves, and now
to be fair, Irving's a former champion.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's still he thought he was better than this Golden State culture, in my opinion. I think that KD, once he got here, was like, oh, this is good. I like that we're winning, but I feel like I can, now that I know how to win a championship, I can just go and do that. And that's what it felt like. And now he's left this kind of great system where, and don't get me wrong, Golden State has one of the best systems ever in basketball. You're held accountable. Steph Curry came off the bench in the first round and said, I don't need to. I'm still banged up. You know how many great point guards of all time would do that? There's not many. So I think this is a massive mark on KD's career, and I'm going to cough, so please take over.
Yeah.
All right.
I stayed quiet for that 1 second because I wanted to hear the world listen to the Nicholson cough.
Perfect. But no, I think this is a massive, spot on KD's career. I mean, when you leave and you think you're one of the best players of all time and the system still flourishes, maybe even better without you because they're prepared for the future, like we said. I mean, that's a massive spot on your career. It really looks like how much impact did KD have on those championships? Now, don't get me wrong. Conti's losing his mind. Don't get me wrong. He was a big part of those championships.
All I'm going to say is I was saying this years.
Sure.
I've been saying this for a long time, and everyone was like, you're crazy.
Well,
Conti.
don't get me wrong, right? He was the best player on that team, but it's still, again, it was a team. He made that team from one of the best teams of all time to, in my opinion, in 2017, the greatest basketball team ever assembled. Those are the standards, because he went there. KD didn't do anything special when he was there. He just played Kevin Durant's game. That's all he had to do.
So, I mean, the thing is...
yeah. We're getting there.
The way, sorry, did you have anything to say?
No.
Pre-cough.
Yeah, take over. I'm going to get a cough drop.
Okay, so Will Nicholson. You know what? for the 5 seconds that Will Nicholson's here, I'm taking his seat. I'm taking the goddamn comfy seat. I'm alone for all of 10 seconds, but you know what? I'm going to enjoy this 10 seconds on the comfy seat. And the 10 seconds is over.
Perfect.
I go back to the wooden chair. Will Nicholson goes back to the spinny chair.
Back. Yep.
And we're back. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to talk.
Perfect.
The way I look at this, so Kevin Durant has been on this team for 3 years now. All right, so the first year, it's a wash. He was injured. Okay, he didn't come back till very late. I believe it was in the bubble he came back. Did he come back in the bubble
No,
or no?
I don't think so.
Okay, so he didn't play at all for that first year. He was there. It was just the Kyrie show. Correct. I'm not going to hold him accountable for that. Okay, we got that out the way. Understood? Yeah. The second year he was there, he got eliminated in the second round by the champs Milwaukee. Okay, so there you go. I mean, not even an Eastern Conference Finals appearance, and that team was talked about as an NBA champion. All right, so
super team.
Yeah, a super team, along with James Harden too. So that team majorly disappointed, not even not making it to the NBA Finals, but not the conference finals. So that's a huge disappointment. And then this year, come on, you get swept. You get swept. I understand that it's the Celtics. I do, and they're in the NBA Finals now, and it looks like they had a great game plan, and it looks like that Boston has a chance to win this thing. We do have to acknowledge that this is potentially the NBA champs we're going to be talking about. But you're Kevin Durant and you're Kyrie Irving. You're telling me you couldn't get a game? Not one game? Look at the Celtics team last year. Look at how, compared to this team, look at how bad they were in terms of chemistry and just not wanting to be together and everything.
And they won a game.
They won the game. They still managed to at least eke out one game. You're Kevin Durant, you're Kyrie Irving. Yes, they didn't have James Harden, but you had a more complete team. You had a more complete team because you had Andre Drummond, you got Seth Curry. So, I mean, not only did you get more shooting, you got rebounding, which is definitely what you needed.
I got Ben Simmons, by the way. But there needs to be more put on Ben Simmons for this, because how do you not play?
Especially Game 4. Yeah, and you know what? I was wrong. And I'll say it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. Will Nicholson was completely right about Ben Simmons. He was. You know, and I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong, you know, but the thing is, I never am. So true. I'm just joking. But anyways, you got a more complete team along with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and you couldn't win one game. And let's go a little bit further. They couldn't even get out of the play-in. When I mean that, I mean like, yes, they got out of the play-in. They won the play-in, but they shouldn't have been in the play-in. I'm glad you understood. Like, how? You know, like, I'm sorry, just how? It really baffles me. Yeah, you lose the series, but you take it to 7 games. Not fine, actually. They should be like championship favorite. But still, like, okay, fine, you gave a fight. To get swept, by at that time a Celtics team who people had questions about, can they perform in the playoffs even though they're on a white hot streak?
Is this Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown's last year as a unit?
Exactly. Like,
Mine completely.
Excuse me.
Hello. No, you're good. No, don't worry about it. No, but do you know where I'm coming from here? Yeah. And you know what? I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna be a little controversial. How dare people rank Kevin Durant over Dirk Nowitzki?
Oh, come on.
How dare?
Come on.
How dare they?
Conti.
How dare they?
Come on.
How dare they?
Jason Dan's going to love that one.
Yeah, it's true. It's absolutely 1,000% true. Answer this for me. Would you rather have Kevin Durant's 2 rings or Dirk Nowitzki's 1?
I mean, I guess Dirk's 1, but...
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean...
So in 2009, 2011, what happened? Both teams, the Dallas Mavericks and the OKC Thunder, faced that Miami Heat team, right?
Yep.
I'm sorry, 2011.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I got you know what I mean.
2010.
2011. Yes, you got I got my years wrong. I'm sorry. Guess what Kevin Durant had? Russell Westbrook. Prime Russell Westbrook. Not the guy that we're talking shit about now.
Sure.
6th man of the year, James Harden. I'll give you that. Defensive player of the year candidate, Serge Ibaka.
And they had Perk.
They had Perk.
Right?
Yeah, they had Perk, a big dominant paint presence still. Believe they had. Don't laugh, please. They had Thabo Cephalosha, who was a good 3-and-D. Who was a good 3-and-D player back then. He was. Back then, he was.
He was no Mike Miller.
No, he wasn't. Who did Dirk Nowitzki have? He had himself, an aging Jason Kidd, and I'll give it to you, a defensive player of the year, Tyson Chandler.
Sure.
And then an aging Peja Stojakovic. And who won the ring? Out of the 2 teams that I listed, who won?
The big German guy.
The big German guy, Kevin Durant.
41.
No, the big German guy, Dirk Nowitzki, number 41. if you base your all-time players off of that stupid NBA 75 list, if you look at it, I know you don't, and
Dame should not be on the list.
Yes, and I know that a lot of people actually do base the rankings off of that. Kevin Durant, if you pay attention, is ranked 12th. I think this moves him back to the 20s.
It's tough. It really is tough.
I don't understand.
I just like how it shows how much of a clown Kyrie Irving is.
Yeah.
That's like half.
Exactly. And you know what? Kevin Durant is now, in my opinion, instead of a top 15 player of all time, top 20.
Dang.
He's a top 20 player of all time.
You know what the thing is? I don't completely disagree with you. Because I think this is a massive spot on KD's career. I mean, you left. You're like, oh, yeah, it was a super team, but I went there for the culture, and then you leave the culture.
What culture? The culture that said we don't need a coach?
Yeah.
What kind of culture is that?
Yeah.
It's not a positive one, I'll tell you that much. Like, imagine being so arrogant. Because that's what it is. It's arrogance. It's complete and utter arrogance. To say and sit here with the other best player on your team, you being the best, saying, we are beyond instruction. We are beyond having somebody draw up an offense for us or draw up a defense for us. We are beyond that.
We can just go out and score.
We can go out and score, and we can outscore anybody because they can't outscore anybody.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of if they got swept in the first round, when they're on their game, they can't outscore anybody. Okay, they lost, and not only lost, embarrassingly got swept in the first round. And you have the audacity to say we do not need coaching. We don't need coaching. What the hell is that?
It's horrible.
What the hell is that?
It's horrible.
I mean, listen, I said this a while ago. The first time Jake was on here when you had to do the most editing ever of your life.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yep, I was on here and I said this. I go, what if Kevin Durant what happens? If you look at the Yankees, Alex Rodriguez, Derek Jeter. Alex Rodriguez was the better player, but who was the fuel that ran that engine? Jeter, kid. Jeter. Exactly. This is my point. Kevin Durant, the better player, Steph Curry, the man who runs the engine, and the guy who runs the engines in the NBA Finals, when the other guy who was the better player has been sitting their ass at home for about 2 months now.
Had a nice Cancun trip, though.
What's up?
Had a nice Cancun trip.
Good for him.
He went to Cancun.
Oh, you know what? Great. Awesome. Round of applause for you.
Yeah, good for KD.
Round of applause.
I'm glad it was a good trip.
I mean, do you have anything to say about this? Because
I totally agree with you. I mean, he thought he was bigger than the system, and I mean, it came back and,
bit him in the ass.
Yeah, it did.
And you know what? I can't express to you how happy I am that it did. Yeah. I really cannot express to you how happy I am that it did.
I feel you.
So that's pretty much all I have on this. I mean, one more little tad bit thing that we have is since the Miami Heat did get eliminated, we definitely are going to be looking at their team. And yes, they are aging. Yes, they are a team that has some veterans on there who definitely only have a few years left.
Did you see Udonis Haslem leaving?
Yeah,
he's just
leaving.
Man, it's like, you didn't play.
I hear it. No, but that's probably the end of his career, so I'll give him a pass.
Sure.
So, I'll ask you kind of a similar question to what I asked you a couple of weeks ago about Phoenix. Do you, I wouldn't say blow it up, because you don't blow it up,
No.
in my opinion.
No, you don't.
But what do you do to change this Miami team and make them compete?
You move a couple of contracts around, and in my opinion, you go and get Bradley Beal. That's a guy who I think works well with that team, but you need to move some contracts around.
Do you think Bradley Beal fits that physical Miami Heat structure, though?
Absolutely. They just need another scorer out there. They just need another guy, and, I mean, you got defensive pieces, so you just got to go get someone else.
But, I mean, here's the thing, Miami is very orientated on making sure you get your ass down there and you defend. And you defend not only just with effort, but with attitude.
Yes.
I see a lot of people saying get Bradley Beal. I don't know what exactly you would give up for him on that Miami team.
Maybe you move. Well, he's going to be a free agent, Bradley Beal.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay, so
maybe
I
you
don't
move
know.
around like Victor Oladipo's contract. There's pieces that you can move around to make it work.
Yeah, I mean, do you think he'd be a fit on this team, though?
I think he would. They should need a scorer. You got plenty of defensive guys.
Yeah.
If Max Strus can fit on this team, yeah.
But Max Strus is a bench player, though. I mean, at heart, Max Strus is a bench player. I mean, Bradley Beal is going to go from being the number one guy and getting all the shots to, kind of just being...
He's going to be the Chris Middleton, in my opinion.
Bradley Beal's better than Middleton.
Well, yeah, but he's going to play that role where it's, okay, Giannis, and then it's Bradley Beal.
I don't know,
Jimmy
man.
Butler, and it's Bradley Beal.
I don't know, man. I kind of present to you this, though. I mean...
Okay. Well, let me hear your Miami plan.
No, because Kemba Walker was kind of going from that number 1 guy, and then he went to Boston, and he became really the number 3 guy.
Didn't play as well.
And he didn't play as well. Do you not kind of see the same parallels there with Miami and Bradley Beal?
I don't think so, because who'd be the number 2?
Well, sorry, besides Jimmy? I mean, you got Bam. Bam Adebayo.
Yeah, but I think it's a little bit different.
Bam Adebayo, you got Tyler Hero.
That's like saying, oh, could, Chris Paul work with Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton? Like, yeah, it's 2 different positions.
I mean, I guess, but the thing is, like, that team needed a facilitator.
Sure. This team needs a scorer.
it does. I don't know. I don't know. The thing is, if it works, it works. I'll take my hat off to you, and I'll be like, hell yeah, you were absolutely right. But
Kyle Lowry might be time for Kyle
not.
Lowry.
I hope not. I hope not. I love Kyle Lowry.
He's got to go.
Why?
He's too old.
That's not an answer.
Oh, come on. He's making too much money for an old guy, Gino.
No, listen, but when he's on the floor, he produced. When he's on the floor,
really.
When he was on the floor in the regular season,
he did a lot of hitting the floor.
Yes, but you were like, I fucking and I completely agree with you. He was flopping a lot, but in the regular season when healthy, Kyle Lowry was making an impact.
Sure, okay.
And he was completely banged up. He really shouldn't have been on the floor, but he's an actual.
And he has a caboose. Let's not forget that.
Oh baby, don't make me act up. But he's like an actual tough, actual NBA player.
Yeah.
So he's somebody who actually played through a sore finger, but or like a chipped toenail or something.
Yeah, of course.
So anyway, I don't know. I'm a little worried about this one because Will, you've liked the last 2 trades that I've done.
Right?
I don't know if you'll like this one. I don't know. I'm a little worried about it.
Let's hear it.
So in my opinion, if you can do this, okay, you trade Duncan Robinson, you trade Gabe Vincent, and you trade Caleb Martin. And this is kind of a Golden State Warriors episode.
Oh no, Gino.
You call up the Golden State Warriors and you say, give me Andrew Wiggins. I don't know if you like that or not.
I don't, because I don't think Golden State does that. If you can make that happen, yes, do it.
Because the thing is, I don't know if you have to choose between paying Jordan Poole and paying Andrew Wiggins. I pay Jordan Poole.
Yeah, you pay Jordan Poole.
You pay Jordan Poole.
You don't have to pay Jordan Poole for a little bit. It's only a second year in the league.
But I mean, still, they're gonna eventually.
I mean,
if you pay Andrew Wiggins, then what money will you have to pay Andrew?
Maybe if they
Jordan
lose
Poole.
this finals, maybe I could see that.
I mean, the thing is, if you pay Andrew Wiggins, where's your money to pay Jordan Poole? Because you have Steph, Clay, and.
But you don't need to pay Wiggins right now. Wiggins isn't a free agent, right?
He's coming up, and you're gonna want to extend him,
I guess.
So, if in my opinion, you like I said, we don't really have.
I give you a B grade on that. I'd like to see it happen. But I think it's way more unlikely than the previous ones.
Maybe. So the thing is, though, and you look at it, the Heat, I have it right here. The Heat 2023 starting 5. You got Kyle Lowry. Jimmy Butler can play the 2.
He can
play the 2. You got Andrew Wiggins. You keep PJ Tucker because he is a good physical piece. And you got Bam Adebayo.
Okay.
That's in that. So
would you write instead of Bam? I see a scribble.
Oh,
there.
I meant I spelled Adebayo wrong.
Okay.
So then, in my opinion, if you look at Golden State starting 5, yes, it'll look like an immediate downgrade. But look at that bench depth that you'll eventually get. You'll have Curry, you'll have Clay, you'll have Duncan Robinson. So imagine that shooting. Imagine that shooting 3.
At that point, you just start Poole, right?
I guess, yeah. So maybe you can move
Clay to the 3.
Maybe you could do that.
Sure.
So, or then you have Draymond Green and then James Wiseman.
Yes.
Please let's not forget about James Wiseman.
Yeah.
Because I do think that he's going to be good when he comes back.
I agree.
And then you'll on the bench finally you'll have some depth because especially if you're going to move Jordan Poole up, then you'll have Gabe Vincent, who really showed his worth this season, who really, in my opinion, played pretty goddamn good. You'll have Otto Porter, then you'll have Duncan Robinson if you want to move him to the bench. Then
which they probably should.
Yeah, and then you'll have Kevon Looney, who's more suited as a bench guy. And then what? You'll have Kuminga. You'll have Moses Moody. You'll have.
Moody.
I mean, doesn't that bench sound a lot better?
It does. I mean, I don't see the likelihood, but I mean, if you can make that happen, you make that happen.
What's gonna happen, Will, if all 3 of the trades? Jesus Christ, go see a doctor, man.
I know, right?
What's gonna happen if all 3 trades that I propose go through? What are you gonna do?
I mean, Conti and Nich will just be the best show ever. I mean,
of course it will be.
And it already is.
We're gonna be showing on TNT with Charles
Barkley. Oh yeah, we'll be there.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty good. You know?
I'm pretty satisfied.
This is a little bit on the shorter end of the videos that we've done.
I know, but we packed a lot of information into
We
this
did,
one,
and
so
you know what? But
it's great.
you know, we're clear, concise. We say what we gotta say,
Yeah.
man. I'm happy about it.
You know
man.
who the real winner of the entire NBA season
You know,
is? As a whole?
whether it be Boston, whether it be Golden State, you know, one team's gonna hold up the championship, but behind the scenes, we all know that the real champion is and always will be
John Bro. Adios. My voice is shot. Bye.